Today we're talking about very, very, very important topic. Two, but uh, they're not they're kind of separate, but they kind of mingle the way how we're going to talk about it. Number one is co-ed sports. The controversy, the chaos with that, and then we also want to touch on the issue with Johnathan Majors. What happened with him in
Yes.
his court case? So is there anything you want to add, Mike, to the introduction?
Nope. This is we're back on the new format for the second time. PM hour. Um, did everybody do their introductions? Just
I'm gonna do my pledge right now before we start formally getting us in. Okay.
okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Should be a good show, man. Let's do it.
I pledge allegiance to my thoughts. I
Hmm.
can't be told and I can't be brought. And to your group think that I can't stand,
Facts.
be rebellious, talk to God, unemotional, critical thinking shall be adopted by all.
Oh, so no, I don't have anything to add to that, but I do want to. I just want to get into the topic, man. It's a good one. We got definitely some fresh ideas with Manny, and him being an a current athlete, with this new day and age and these new ideas of sports and them being co-ed. Um, I will just ask a question. It's for the floor, because with a lot of the stuff, things I was looking up and looking into with the researching and stuff, I did get a little confused because so the term co-ed sports, along with the new standards of how some, if not a lot, of the uh, general public today, how they feel men playing in female sports and women playing in what used to be predominantly male sports to transitioning over, and the different views on gender roles now. Is it even considered co-ed sports? Because if I identify as a woman and I'm
Great
playing
question.
Well,
and I'm
that's
playing,
not really what co-ed sports is. Co-ed
so
sports
that's
is male and female playing together in a sport. That what you guys are mentioning is a totally different topic, which we're going to cover later on in the video.
okay. So that I had some trouble with because with a lot of the research that came up, I wasn't able to decipher. I know what co-ed sports means when the time and age I grew up and played sports, but I don't know if that's the same thing today. If that means the same thing today. I mean, male and female don't even mean the same thing as it does today. So I found that a little like I had to take a step back and really take in that realization. So hopefully I can find some clarity today as we go over stuff. So let's rock, man. Who's starting off?
How about
Manny.
you, Paul? You go right ahead.
All right, let's go, Pete.
All right. So you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. So all right, we're talking about men and women competing in the same sport, correct? That's what co-ed sport is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think it's a I understand, like where women are coming from and like where they want us to go, but I don't think it's a good thing, because obviously, and a lot of women will, shoot me down for this. A lot of men, quite frankly, will shoot me down for this too, but um men are physically superior to women.
It's just a fact.
And like for example, like I don't know if you guys know Clarissa Shields. She's the female boxer. She's like
No.
the best female boxer out right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know it.
Yeah,
I probably don't know it because female sports are trash. So
she's
I
very talented.
disagree with that,
you
Mike.
disagree?
It
You disagree?
women's tennis is just as entertaining as the men's. Besides, women's tennis is a lot shorter than men's tennis. They play the exact same game the men's play.
I, If it's not four names, nobody's watching it. If it ain't the Williams sisters or whoever at this point in time is I remember when I was really really on sports and watched a lot of Sports Center. Uh, I'm gonna botch these names up. I apologize, but like Serena Sakova, something like that. Um, they were good, but they were also beautiful. So they drew the big ticket,
You talk about
and then they
Anaconda.
were
Yeah,
yes, that's one of
she
them.
was bad.
They were beautiful and good,
Yeah,
and then of course you had the Serena sisters, but the Williams sisters. But if not for them, the ratings dropped drastically, and so just my
well,
opinion.
that's my
And
personal.
I cannot watch women's sports.
It
I can't.
also depends on
Worse.
like what women's sports it is. For me, like I don't really watch when I watch sports. I don't really watch sports that much, but when I watch sports, I find myself either watching tennis, which I can watch either or I don't care, or volleyball. I like volleyball very much. I'm a huge volleyball fan, and I both like men and women's
That's
volleyball
more
equally.
volleyball to
You,
me.
man, you telling
Volleyball
me
to
to
me
watch
is
it?
more of an aesthetic thing. It's more of a visual thing. I like
Yo,
what they
that's
wear.
what you telling me. You sitting there watching women's volleyball,
It's
or are
actually
you
very
watching women's volleyball?
the first one. I don't do it for that because the fact is, men's volleyball is just fun to watch as women's volleyball.
Pause. Pause, Manny. All right, before we get off topic, go ahead, finish, Paul. Finish,
But,
Paul.
yeah, Clarissa Shields. She's like the top female boxer, very talented in her sport. Um, Recently there's been some controversy around her because she's out here challenging these dudes now. That's how dominant she's in the female sport. She's
Mm-hmm.
out here challenging the dudes, and um, she's challenging a lot of male boxers that you might not know.
Mm-hmm.
She challenged Keith Thurman.
I know who
Uh,
that is.
she challenged Jake Paul. Y'all probably know who Jake Paul is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my God, is he
and you know,
considered a boxer now? Like he's a real boxer
Yes, he's a real
consideration?
boxer. He's actually, even though he's not, he's very mechanically good, but his fight wise, he's not a good. He's not really tenacious, but he has good mechanics in the ring.
he's a good
How did that?
marketer too. He's a good marketer of the sport. So like he's bringing eyes to the sport. He's making a lot of money, and
So he so he's
he's
no
knocking
longer
out.
like it's no longer like a spectacle. He actually
Yes,
is licensed to box. Like if
yes,
if Roy Jones was in his prime, like he would be like a contender for
no,
Roy
No,
Jones. Why not?
no,
he would die to Ray
because he's not that
Jones.
good. He's not good.
Oh,
He's
okay,
not that.
I see what you're saying.
He is a
But
boxer,
but
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 he's not a
but
boxer.
he is a
Boxer.
boxer.
He,
eh,
even though he has hired a coach and has completely left the world of YouTube like that, even though he still uploads, he's mainly focusing on boxing. A while
Okay,
ago,
I
he
understand.
was actually in talks of boxing Andrew Tate before he got locked up.
I
yeah.
understand. Okay.
So like he challenged Gennady. She challenged Gennady Golovkin. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Golovkin is a power boxer, like power puncher. He'll knock out most men.
What is she
He'll
doing? Just challenging them, or has she actually sparred?
She sparred with a man. It's another, and he knocked her out. There's a video out right now. He knocked her out. He knocked her to the ground.
What did she
And
think was going?
well, she claims that she sparred other men, and like she gave them the work. And I'm pretty I train martial arts, and I've sparred against women and men, but when we spar, like she talks about sparring a lot, and sparring is controlled fighting.
Yeah.
Sparring is like my sensei 30%, 30%. Don't go over 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we may go over a little bit. We may go over, but we're not really going that hard. Like we don't want to hurt our partner. And we got personal lives too. Like if you get a fight is a fight. If you get in a fight, somebody can get hurt really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's controlled. You know, but for her, like to me, it feeds into delusion of American women to actually think that they could compete physically in a lot of these sports.
Hmm.
Um, like and like the way she talks, she's talking to these dudes like she's men, like she's throwing fighting words, calling them this and calling them that, and then
Yo,
it,
first round knockout, man.
and like it's not a good, like it's not a, like for me, for example, I would not want to get in a fight with an alphabet rainbow at all because it's a lose-lose situation. Even a woman, it's a
Wait,
lose-lose.
go ahead.
But like, especially an alphabet rainbow, because if you lose, it's embarrassing. Like it's like you lost to that. Like,
Except the fact
but
is, people don't realize that I do martial arts. I do wrestling, high school wrestling. There are girls on our team, and they're actually very good. And people don't realize, oh, you lost to a girl. No, some of the girls are actually very good. And the fact is, they do move some of us guys can't because they're a lot more flexible than us. And I have personal experience, even though I wrestled this girl in my wrestling club, and she's very good. I wouldn't say, oh, I could beat her. She would give me the work. Like, me and her are currently tied, but, like, in a straight wrestling match, I'm not sure who would win it at any given day.
And you guys are the same weight?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, like um, it's like I don't think we shouldn't continue to promote the society where we live in delusion and fantasy.
Except those are
And
combat and contact sports. What about the non contact sports? Like, a lot of the winter sports, some of them, they're co ed where men and women work together. Are we going to consider that? And curling, that is a team sport with men and women on it. Because not all co ed sports are going to be stacked in the men or women's favor. There are different sports out there.
The only one that I know of is like tennis, where they do doubles, co-ed doubles.
Except curling is a
I,
sport that has men and women on the team. Figure skating has men and women on it together.
I like to. Well, for me, I guess as long as it's not head to head, that I think the fairness it starts to balance out. You just mentioned figure skating. That's more of a visual and technique and skill. Um, and yes, of course, it's head to head, my team versus your team. But when we're in the same arena at the same time, the same court or field at the same time, I don't think it's fair, and I think it gets hidden how there's like a disparity there. For example, let me ask you guys this, and I'll pose the first question, I guess, for the topic. You guys know me for a long time, Manny. We just became friends, but long story short, I'm at my age now. I'm still good at basketball, and I've always been very good at basketball. Whenever we play basketball and girls step on the court, I never change my game. If you are a female and you happen to be under the rim, oh well, sucks for you. You're getting dunked on. If you are a girl and you happen to be killing Paul that day, me and Paul are switching because that shit is stopping. There's not a woman alive that can score on me, and it's not happening. And I would get a lot of flack from the sidelines or people on the court. Yo, that's a female. Da-da-da. I'm like, no, we're
Except that
all
that's a
basketball
lose
players.
lose situation. Like, don't
Yeah,
block her saying, oh, she's
yeah,
a girl. Oh, you should
yep,
go easy on her. When you do, it's like, come on, bro, she's a girl.
exactly. I've never lost, and I'm older now, so it doesn't matter. But when I was younger, I've never lost a game where a girl was on the other team. A girl has never beat me in basketball. And I would never let it happen. That's just my competitive spirit. And I know I'm superior to you on the basketball court. Just like if it's no disrespect, Manny, love you. But if we're playing basketball, I'm a superior player. I'm not letting you score. I don't care
Yeah.
how cool we are. So that's how I view it.
Like, same thing in
No, my
wrestling. You're not beating me
yeah,
in wrestling. No, Mike, you don't know how to wrestle. That's a simple thing. If me and you, if you learn all the basics of wrestling, you would lose, Mike.
I'm not going to stray too far from what the topic, but I'll just answer you. The only reason I disagree with you, first of all, I'm going to say for the sake of the conversation that you're correct, because I'm going to respect your years of training and as a wrestler. So I'm going to show you respect and say, and I hope you would beat me. You should, because I'm not a wrestler. But where my stance is on this topic, if I apply it to me and you wrestling, I feel I'm far more stronger, and I feel I'm technically savvy enough to keep you off.
I'm not saying that I'm
Now,
gonna completely destroy you. I'm not. I'm saying I'm gonna beat you, but never said I'm gonna
maybe
completely.
I think you would score better than me. You'd beat me by scoring, but like you won't be able to pin me. So if they're going off scores and fouls, you'll win. But I
Yeah,
don't think you can pin me. And that's the same thing with a man and a woman. No disrespect to you. I'm just our weight difference. I'm not calling you a female.
I'm just saying if we
And
were the same weight, I bulked up or you cut down, a fair wrestling match, I
yeah,
would
that'd
beat
be good.
you.
That'd be good. And I think on our
Mike, how
1000th
much do you
episode,
weigh?
we should record that.
Yeah, Mike, how much do
Our
you weigh?
one our 1000th episode, I'm gonna try to get down to. I think the most I could get to for you is 180, 185. I
Wait,
don't think
how
my
much do
body
you
will
weigh,
allow.
Joe? How much do you weigh?
I weigh right now 205.
Wait, what?
Yeah, bro. See, man, I'm a man, bro. I keep trying to tell you the
How
difference,
much?
bro.
How
Like,
tall are you?
first of all, before my back surgery, I was 230, and I wouldn't say healthy 230, but I was a 230 I managed
Okay,
it way fast.
that changes everything. I thought you were like close to 180, 160. Then now, no, knowing that
Nah,
there's
you could go wrestle Paul, the lightweights. You can go over there and wrestle Big.
I'm not wrestling you
Right
now because
now I'm 205. And if I got down to 180, I
I can
still
bulk
have
to
I
180.
still have but again to the topic, even if I got down to 180, my biology still carries most of the strength of 210.
Not true,
So I
because
can really
last
compare.
year there was a guy on JV. I was with him. He lost to a. They were both heavyweights. This girl was significantly heavier than him.
Oh God.
Like, she was like,
You lost to Lizzo?
yes.
God.
Like the fact is, this guy. He's saying we told him you better not lose. The fact is,
Yeah, that's
no, we
bad.
not saying because he was a terrible wrestler and he doesn't know how to wrestle at all. He barely went to practice. He always stuffs his face, barely goes. We told him, dude, you better not lose because you suck. And
Mhm.
frankly, she's better than you. And we
Wow.
laughed at him. The match was over, not even in 5 seconds. All she did
That's
was
crazy.
took him, threw him to the ground, and pinned him in 5 seconds. It was the
That's
most sad thing I ever had to
disrespect.
watch. Because the fact is, this guy was talking all this stuff and got beat by a girl who is in the same weight class as him, even though heavyweight's your weight. The highest weight in wrestling high school is 215 and above, and 285 is the highest weight class, and there's no weights after that. All that is all in your wrestling skill. Besides, you can wrestle the fattest guy and be at 215 and beat him because you are a better wrestler.
So here's the question, and I'll ask. And since you're talking, you answer first, Manny. So if you are in co-ed sport, any sport you want to use in your head, or you can just verbalize it for us. Any sport, you're going against a female. If you want to use wrestling, for example, and you just described a female wrestler who was on par with you. Realistically, answer this and think about it. If you have to, we can go to Paul and you can come back if you don't have your answer. How much of that match is you not accepting the fact as an athlete that you're not that good, slash how humble were you because you were wrestling a female, you just didn't give your best. And what I mean
Neither.
by say it again.
Neither. I went in there.
Neither.
When I go against girls in sports or go against, I throw out gender out the window. I just go, let's just play.
So you went all out, and this girl was
I
still
always
that
go
good.
all out. I'm here to wrestle. I'm not here to hold back.
I really would need to see that match. I find that so hard to believe.
You think I would hold back after knowing me, Mike?
I think you are shy, and
How am I
because it's a
shy?
girl. All right, Paul, you competing against a female, you don't think your pride would come into play as far as like maybe you're not that. Let's say you was doing a free throw shooting contest with a girl, and that's all technique. Like, how much of that is she just shoots better free throws than you? Slash, I'm gonna hold back because she's a girl.
I think girls could be better shooters than men, and
Because
I do
shooting's all
like
about technique.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and like even with martial arts, I think girls could be better like kickers, punchers. Like they might have better technique. Well, not really punchers, probably kickers, but like naturally, like when I'm like playing a sport, any sport, even against a man, initially not really giving my best up front. I usually like to feel it out a little bit. That's where I differ, like, and like that's kind of one of my flaws, where I probably should go all out in the beginning, whoever
Okay.
is in front of me. But like a woman, like with a woman, I probably more than likely will not give my all. I'll probably like, she's a woman. I gotta be careful a little bit. Don't wanna like, do something that's I could give you an extra bump, like or something.
Except
But
Yeah,
I can
because I'm in
that's why.
wrestling, the fact is the ref they call stuff when you're getting a bit too violent. Like there is stuff we can't do. The fact is there are two different types of wrestling in high school. The level there's folk style and freestyle. Every single high school in New York wrestles folk style, meaning when you take it down a guy, he has to be able to defend himself. So, for example, when I go to suplex a kid, I can't cover his shoulder. He has to be able to move his arm and everything. In freestyle wrestling, I can suplex that kid however I want.
Okay.
And
And and
also,
if you suplex a girl, yo, I'm thinking the match is over. If you suplex a
if you get suplex in general, the match is over.
oh my god! And you can have you seen a girl suplex a guy
Yeah,
while you've been wrestling?
yeah.
Oh my god! See, God, I got to see this.
You forget
Mate,
it. Wrestling is when you suplex someone, it's all about the gravity and how you turn back. I've been suplexed before, and I have suplexed kids before. It is not fun to do the move, and it is not fun to get hit by the move. It is pure technique. Like, hold on. I'll show you guys a video of how hard a suplex is, and no matter what you do, you're getting hit by this.
yeah. So, wrestling is a brutal sport, and it does a toll on your body too. It does a massive toll on your body. So I definitely don't think
Take it.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't want to be a part of that suplex.
See, see, look. Hold on, let me just.
Take it.
That's a suplex. See how that guy got flipped over?
You gotta rewind it.
Well, you guys need.
Take it.
Do you see that?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just
Well, it's
imagine.
dangerous too.
No, just.
Yeah,
And just imagine someone not doing that right, which most people do in matches.
yeah. It could be a neck injury,
Yeah, at the last
back
two wrestling
injury.
tournaments I went to, some kid nearly broke his neck because he got suplexed the wrong way.
Mm,
So, for co-ed sports wrestling, you can go either way, but it's mainly about how good you are as a grappler, and that could be anyone. The fact is, this is mainly about your personal strength, and the fact is, for this one, it's up in the air. But for other combat sports, I would not say co-ed should be allowed for certain ones. For wrestling,
yeah,
they can, but now because there's more and more girls doing wrestling, they have girls divisions now, which is safer, but either way, you're still gonna get concussed if you get hit in this sport.
So like I'm pretty much getting, but I'm pretty much getting that the more physical and the more physical the sport is, the less that it should be co-ed.
Yeah, because think about it. When we are in high school, every sport we do that's not in a besides a couple, besides volleyball, basketball, a lot of other ones, they're co-ed. Like track is co-ed, cross country is co-ed, riflery is co-ed.
Yeah.
It
I
depends on
but
the
I,
sport.
I was reading an article today that it talked about uh, like a well, it wasn't really co-ed, but it was like a biological, just put say a biological male competing in a women's sport, and she spiked the volleyball in the girl's face and it fractured her, it broke her teeth, and then like it was like they said it was like 76 miles per hour or something like that.
But that also comes to play at what level do we stop making it co-ed? Because high school, anyone could be any strength at high school. Like, I've seen kids at different sports be like toothpicks and they're high school. Then I see some kids who look like they're full grown men and they're only in the 8th grade. Because we had an 8th grader on our team, varsity. This kid is football varsity 8th grade. He's in 9th grade now. This kid looks like a giant. This kid looks like he can be a senior. And he's in 8th grade.
As more time passes, Manny, let's say 8 years, and you're still athletically at a peak, and a girl in your sport, your weight is still at her peak. Do you think at that point in time she would still be able to best you?
No.
Because so are we agreeing that as kids and teens, co-ed sports can be highly competitive, but once you start to descend ascend to man woman, there's a large gap that begins to reveal itself.
Yes. It also depends in the sport as well. Because
Gotcha.
take the New York City Marathon. That's a mixed running sport. And should running a long distance be mixed or single for different genders?
Well, the men always best the women by like huge margin. Second are huge in terms of running and
Yes,
track.
but a lot of
So,
women's records aren't were at their peak in the 80s, and a lot of the women's records had fell off.
mhm. I think running is a sport we could keep co-ed.
Because
Um,
it's mainly about your leg range and how big good your stamina is. That also
mhm.
depends on should what's it called? Which running should we differentiate co-ed from strictly men
Yeah.
and female events?
Good question.
And
That's a
also,
good.
one sport I'm curious about you guys is Q1 fencing. Should that be co-ed?
I don't think so. I don't. It, be, that's a good question. Um, in my opinion, I feel fencing is such a sport centered around technique and timing, eye-hand coordination. I think that can. I think that levels the playing field for the female,
And
or male.
also
Whichever.
ballet. Like there are male
That's,
ballet,
not a sport. That's not a sport. We gotta come
but
on,
it's
bro. We got.
dancing. Dancing is a sport in other cultures. We're also thinking strictly the U.S.
I'm not gonna give you that dance. Is just not doing it. I feel like maybe that's a competition, but that's like are we saying cheerleading? No disrespect to the cheerleaders. Is that a sport? Like that's not a
Technically,
to me.
it
That's not a
considered is
sport.
because there's competitions and people win stuff in it. And before you say anything else, there
Like a
are
food
Muay
challenge. Is a food
there are
challenge sport?
boxers in Russia who specifically do Romanian ballet for a couple years. than actually go back to doing boxing and actually dominating it because of the footwork.
I don't disagree that it's a huge part of can be applied to the technique and development. There are quarterbacks, American football quarterbacks that participated in ballet. I think Kobe may have even mentioned it once or twice. But I as a technique, a training mechanism, yes. But as a sport, I don't know. Like, yeah,
But
that's just my opinion. I don't
yeah,
see Paul's pirouette being better than yours. And you getting clapped for that.
how about
Like,
how about racing sports? Those are mixed, and should those be
I
in
don't
a
think they should be mixed. I don't think they should be mixed.
why? There are female NASCAR drivers.
I'm about to get my Paul on right now because women can't drive. Yeah. Yo, it can't be a co-ed sport. Everybody know women can't drive, bro. Like women tend to mix this up because women are like they have better accident to the safe driving ratios than men. I think that's like a real stat that women have less accidents.
As teenage, no,
But
the highest accident for teenagers for new drivers are teenage boys in red cars.
sure, but that's because
Yeah.
we're trying to impress women purposely driving fast.
No,
Yeah, absolutely. I've
boys
done
on average tend to drive faster than women.
boys what?
On average, tend to drive faster than women.
Yeah, yeah, they drive
But
faster in terms.
that is, I don't believe that. The fact is, I've been in the cars with both men and women who speed at astronomically rates. I don't think it's gender. I think people just want to drive fast.
Yeah, but how many years have you been in the car with people driving?
Since I was 0.
Zero. So you can't count being in your mother's womb driving
Fine.
to the ER.
Since I started
Um,
noticing, fine. 4 years old, let's start there. People drive fast. I noticed all my family members, doesn't matter gender, they all drive fast.
people drive fast, but
It's not only about the. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Mike.
no. Go ahead.
Joe.
Go ahead.
It's not only about the driving fast. It's like with women, men do this too, but a lot more women. Like they'll be like this on their phone,
On your phone.
like on this. Like it's like it's more risk. They to me they makeup. You know how many times I see women put on their makeup?
They
That
participate in distracted driving at a way higher rate than we do.
risky, very risky driving. It's like, are you serious? Why would you do that?
Except that's
I think they
also
all,
mainly in America, too.
but women aren't allowed to drive in a lot of other places. Oh, they can't drive. They can't get licensed. They
In
can't get
Muslim
cars.
countries, a lot of women drive in UK, a lot of other women drive in a bunch of other Western countries. The fact is, if we look at the stats, there's no difference between men and women driving.
It
In
it
fact, I
can
would
be.
say that women in my family drive more aggressive than the men, depending on the scenario.
The aggressive driving and who's the better driver, those are two different
I honestly
arguments.
don't
Two
care
different.
who's driving. I personally think I'm the best driver in my family, and I don't have a learner's permit.
Yeah,
I can't
I just don't think
drive.
women can drive, man. I've been in the car with many women, and
Mike, I've been in the car with you. I don't think you can drive, personally.
yeah, but you're wild, and I'm the best driver you ever been in the car with.
No, no, you're not.
No,
Not by a long shot. I'm the best driver I've been in the car with.
not even close. Not even close. It can't be. I've never had an accident. I've driven multiple different
Accidents
cars.
don't mean crap.
How
Most
does it not
accidents
mean?
aren't your fault. It's the other people around you's fault.
Yeah, but my defensive driving skills are too great. I will
I've been
never
in
be
an
able to.
accident, and it wasn't me and my grandfather's fault. We were driving. We were almost there. We looked both ways. We went. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a car comes speeding past. Our car's this. This car comes out of nowhere. We hit him. He comes out. He says, "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I was up." Like, the way the accident was explained, we were at fault because we hit him. But the insurance ruled in our favor because there's no way he didn't. There was a stop sign there. there was a truck blocking the stop sign. There's no way he could have seen it because either he didn't see the stop sign or he was flying on his phone being distracted. That's why the insurance ruled in favor of my grandfather. And that
But you
wasn't his
did,
fault.
yeah, but man, you drive closer to a female than a male. Like I wouldn't consider your driving male driving. It's more feminine. Like
How?
you can because you all you do is complain about wearing seatbelts. Like you
No,
drive
I
like a
don't.
woman. Yo, put every time we're in the car, he's like, yo, you have to put your seatbelt on, or we
No,
can't
I'm doing
start.
it in general. My
I'm
grandpa's
like,
saying,
yo,
"Oh, you fail." Everyone's saying I fail immediately. The fact is,
how you
I
feeling at a
drive.
date?
I drive slow. I drive the speed limit when
Yes,
I
that's
drive.
female driving.
No, it's not.
Driving slow causes more accidents than driving fast.
I drive the speed
Driving
limit.
fast, driving fast, I'll kill myself. But driving slow, you'll kill 7 cars around you.
But I also
You'll,
sometimes
you'll
I don't
cause
want to get a
accidents.
ticket. I just want to get pulled over by the cops.
Your driving is very feminine, son.
In Long Island, if you go like 75 under 75, the cops are not really gonna pull you over on the parkway. Like
I've been pulled
I
over when someone's going 75. Trust me. They only enforce when they want to enforce. And trust me, you should always go the speed limit.
Yeah, definitely Long Island. Long Island driving is terrible. It's one of the
yeah
worst.
No,
I would
that's
say that.
why I honestly hate New York, especially Long Island. That's a part of the reason I want to move to the city so much. The fact is, I'm gonna take the subway, even though that takes there are a whole bunch of its own problems. The New York City subway, or I can just walk everywhere in New York City. But Long Island driving, just say a place is 3 miles away, it takes 20 minutes to drive there.
That's true. That's true. That's because there's so many women drivers on the road.
No, people just don't know how to drive. Period.
I agree. I agree with Mike.
Yeah,
I
it's
see
true.
that. I see,
But
and I've done Uber for like 5 years, so like I've seen
so
it. Like
It's, it's
it's
crazy.
terrible.
So let's get back to the
But
co-ed sports thing. So besides the whole comedy has gone off into, besides that, what other sports do you think should not be and should be co-ed? Because not all sports, like you said, are full-on skill and power. How about bowling? Should that be co-ed?
bowling, I don't think bowling should be co-ed because the man has more ability to like has force, so he has more ability to bowl the ball better than a woman.
Except a lot
Women
of
might be
them
able
also
to.
use custom tailor balls. Because you don't see bowlers using alley balls. They use their own balls.
Yeah,
Pause,
you're giving
pause.
Mike you're giving Mike way too much ammunition.
Oh my god. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Manny. Pulling the
I
ball.
do think bowling should be separate. And also, this is one thing that we got to consider too. This is a similar argument with the alphabet rainbows participating in sports. Like it gives it gives because honestly, most men don't even want to hear women talk about sports. Better yet, play it.
What a
We don't even
point.
want to hear them,
I
we
honestly
don't want to
don't
hear them
care
talk
who
about
talks
it.
about sports. The fact is, why can't we just have a same interests and enjoy that?
It,
No, we don't have
this
the
here's
same
why.
interest. We
This
don't have
for
the same
me.
interest.
For me, this is why. Yeah, we definitely don't have the same interests. I think how men view sports, even female athletes, how men view the sport and how women view the sport are from two different perspectives, and I don't think they'll ever be on the same page. Um, I personally, I don't. I've given many different times. There's been many different times in my life where I've tried to actually watch women's sports, and most recently, since my daughter plays, and my little daughter like is participating and learning, I have to watch it, and I have a newfound interest in it. But me personally, as an athlete, I do not find women's sports entertaining enough. And when I do play with women if it's flag football, basketball, pool, even sports that I'm not necessarily good at, being like pool, I'm too competitive and they can't keep up. So I find it boring. This is just my personal experience. So that for me, that's why I can't. My vote would be for like no co-ed sports because I personally have I either have to hold back for the female player or I tend to get bored. That's just me personally. So I'm not. It's two different. It's apples and oranges for me. If you're watching a women play basketball, because they're not athletic, it's all a skill set thing. And it's just not entertaining. I need to see people flying through the air. I need to see bodies banging. I need to see the
Pause.
aggression. Well, I did. I paused myself. I need to see the athleticism, and women don't have it. So for me, I'm not entertained. I'm very hard to impress as an athlete and a competitor. So for me, there's no competitive nature in women's sports. For me personally, so that's why it's hard for me to watch.
I mean, but even when they talk about basketball, you're very critical, Mike, and me too to an extent on the male sport, like because they lost the competitive nature. Even me, I see how it's all about the money. It's all about getting the ball boys to get the baddies in the crowd after
Yeah.
the game.
Except also that
Um,
also defined beside. Let's go into the esport world for a second. Now you guys not familiar with that. Do you think that should be co-ed? Because
That was racist.
what's
what?
Go
that?
ahead. He said we're not familiar with that.
Yeah, because you guys are old farts.
Oh my god. So what, like Middle Eastern sports?
No, esports like.
Oh, esports. What do you mean? Bro, esports was invented during when you was in your dad's nutsack. What do you mean? We on that. Which esports you talking about?
Like all of them should all games like there are female players, but do you think teams should be co-ed?
Well, even like, all right, I'll ask you this, Manny.
No, I
So,
don't. Can I? Oh yeah, you
go
go.
ahead.
My fault.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
don't think so. I don't think so. Because you know why? Because men, we there's another level to our sports competition, psychological warfare that a lot of women can't
Well,
handle.
I want
Like
to show you an article that
we're like we're
kind
going for
of
the juggler, and they'll start
supports
crying.
Paul's thing. This happened a while ago. This was a Russian. This is a while ago in the esports called League of Legends. They lost 52-2, meaning they got 52 deaths. Their entire team. They only got 2 kills, which were because the men let them do it. By the way, in a professional League of Legends level, this is unheard of. And I just wanted to say that look at them. They were only picked because of one thing. The fact is, I seen their gameplay. They're not that good. The fact is, there are very good female League of Legends players out there. They're only picked because of that. And the fact is, the team that beat them, they got banned because they banned in League of Legends and competitive. You can ban champions your other team picks, and they specifically got banned because they banned the only stuff they were good at, and they only know how to play support characters. They banned all their support characters, and they couldn't play the game because they didn't know how to play any other champions besides the ones they picked.
Let's see it.
Except there are other good female esports players out there, but I don't really think that video games shouldn't be co-ed. The fact is, anyone can play video games at a high level.
I think that can. There's no issue with that being co-ed. I just think we're better at video games than women are. I
And
think we have more time to play video games. Also, it's in our
and
nature.
and in a figurative point of view, not a literal point of view, like women could throw a punch very well. They could throw a punch very well, but they can't take a punch very well. Like like so, like they'll be like back to the psychological warfare. They'll be able to. Oh, that's why you got to small this. That's why whatever they say. They could throw some insults, yes,
Yeah,
but
my
when you
answer
throw
to that is
it's
that
over.
like I have heard it come back when someone says you have a small you know what. I had the perfect comeback when someone says that. I just want to say if anyone says that, I always had the perfect insult when any guys say that to me in the wrestling team. I always say one thing that I said, that's why your mom's breath smells so good.
Oh God, damn, Jesus Christ. Oh, yo, the wrestling is kind of crazy.
Oh man,
Oh, wrestling is good.
that's
I'll be
crazy.
fighting for the wrestling team.
Come on, that you gotta admit that's an amazing comeback.
Yeah, you've had a
Yeah,
lot of time.
I just don't like talk about people's moms. Sometimes, like the closest I get to it is when I'm driving, but I got better at that. Could I drive less now? But I mean, yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like talk about people's moms.
So
But
now that
that's
we're
pretty
getting
funny.
close to the end of the co-ed sports, so let's start wrapping up so we can move on to the Johnathan Majors.
Yeah.
Let's pause for a minute just to give out our emails again and where we can be reached and where we're uploading this video at. Paul, if you want to give that information real quick.
Paul?
Yo, he's frozen. Yo, this guy's yo, that's the illest
Um,
freebie. Manny, wait, Paul, you're recording today?
No, I am.
Oh, do you got that freeze? You got him freezing right now?
No, I don't.
Oh man, damn. Paul, you good over there? You freezing up?
But to those of us are watching on YouTube, we can be reached. Please go to our Instagram PM hour. Please check one of us out there. My
no, I'm
Instagram
not.
is Darth Manny. Paul's
Yes.
Instagram is Paul. Say your Instagram so we can plug it for the YouTube.
I'm gonna come back.
And is attacking.
Oh no, the internet companies are not liking us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, his Instagram
Yes.
is Paul Super Genius. Please go follow him there, and
The truth.
please go
Yeah,
follow the PM Hour official Instagram page.
Our YouTube is yeah, and our
Go ahead,
YouTube
Paul.
is Paul. Our YouTube is PM Hour 4451, and
Yeah.
our email is pmhourpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So Johnathan Majors, man.
So Paul.
Yeah.
So when you edit it, make sure I'll send you the format how it's supposed to be, so you can edit it to make it look like the format.
Okay. Copy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Because once these videos go up,
So-
guys, for all those of you coming from the live to watch this fully, we got quality content coming up. Those guys are watching this at home on YouTube.
Our next show topic is Manny's little penis.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, we're gonna go over that.
So, Johnathan.
Yeah, that was
Major.
good. That was a good discussion on co-ed.
He was.
Sad. I think I actually personally, just in closing on that, I think the co-ed idea of co-ed and putting alphabet rainbows in one thing, they go for the alphabet rainbows, they don't ever put them in men's sport, they put them in women's sport, which shows you something by itself.
Well,
with that
that's
they're
a
not putting them
whole
in the
other
men's sport,
sport.
they put them in the women's sport.
We're talking about
Exactly,
athlete
yeah.
transitioning,
And
which we'll cover in a different episode. What we're talking about, what you
Okay.
guys are mentioning,
Yeah.
is totally different. Co-ed sports is just men and women competing at the same
Men-
level at the same time. Which,
it's
depending on the
unfair.
sport, it's totally fine. But certain sports should be separated because at high school, everyone's at a similar level. The fact is, anyone can be anything. But as we get older, our puberty starts to kick in, and that starts to separate. That's when the skill gap actually starts to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
So now moving on to
Alright,
the
so,
Johnathan Majors. So we all know the
Yep.
Johnathan Majors is guilty of harassment and sexual assault, and sadly, he is fired from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Sad. It's sad. Like I didn't watch any of the Marvels, but I just saw a couple of his roles, and he looked like he was phenomenal at that role.
Yeah, the
Like
fact
he
is,
looked
he was
like he
supposed to
was.
play every single Kang variant, and now
Yeah,
how that actually kind of screwed Marvel over. The fact is, on how
sure,
the fact is now they
sure.
don't have their main villain anymore, and
Mhm.
also this also reminds me how Disney can't win with their actors and how their actors are always getting into controversy. Johnny Depp, even though he was falsely accused, he was fired from Disney from by his personal life, and now they're losing with Johnathan Majors.
They
Yeah.
need to change the standard. They need to change. I don't see where, unless it's murder or something to do with children. I personally don't see where either one of those men lose their jobs because of
Except
this.
they always charge him for domestic. They also did domestic abuse and a bunch of other stuff. You're also forgetting this is the time where Me Too is a thing. And 20, 30 years ago, that was never a thing, Me Too. How women didn't come forward about it. That's not saying every single story that women say is true or false. The fact is, we have to take this stuff a lot more seriously than we did nowadays. And even just say, for devil's advocate, the story was made up, we still have to take what she says to face value because we don't know if she's lying or not. The fact is, you have to leave it to a court of law to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and I go
Because we
ahead.
have to take now, even with Johnny Depp's situation, after that, that's going to be a whole bigger for men with suffering from domestic violence in the celebrity scene. Take, who's the guy that played this guy from House of Cards? The actor that got fired.
David, not Spade. What's his name? I
Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey. Yeah, Kevin
He
Spacey.
sexually
Yeah,
assaulted and sexually abused other men for years, and that's why he got fired for it. And women too.
yeah.
The fact is, no one believed it when they came forward finally because of Me Too. People believed that he got fired. And
And
that's the thing. You have to believe men and women nowadays because
but see, that's not going to happen anytime soon because politicians directly benefit from women, alphabet rainbows being the most protected class of society. They're the most alpha, and it's just, the sad part about it is it it first of all it was white, we used to be white men, but with feminism they gave the power away to women, especially white women, and with that, white women and liberal white men use black women to defeat the most masculine black men, and now we have now women are the most protected class. They have the most, especially white women. They have the most power in society.
I would
And
not say
but
so.
I think
Except, what are we classifying as white? White is a too broad term. Skin color means nothing. The fact is, 50 years ago, we're looking back, there's no such thing as a white person. You're either American, because back in the
I'm referring
day,
to skin color. I'm referring to skin color.
except the fact is,
I'm,
if you look at 20 years ago, you've never considered an Irishman white that had white skin. You would consider him Irish. And the fact is,
yeah, it was more about their race.
The
Yeah,
fact
I mean,
is, if you look at it now, we are a bit more on the racist side. The fact is, we're grouping people together, but back then it was more. We still are tribalistic, and we're always going to be tribalistic. You look at it, what we did, how we treated Irish immigrants when they first came, when we treated Romanian immigrants, Russian immigrants, and what happened with the internment camps, and even how people of other Asian descent during that time were treated, even though they weren't Japanese or Chinese. They were treated very poorly during the time of the internment camps in California.
Yeah, but now all those people are acclimated as white to keep the black side of America in check.
Yeah, but this is
They'd rather
only really
be
an
white. They'd
Eastern,
rather
a
be
Western
white
problem.
than like black. Yeah,
true.
it's definitely. problem.
True, and it translates directly into the court system. The court system. If you're a black man with dreads, especially with dreads, it's over for you. It's over. Forget about it. Whatever. If you're a white woman and you cry, you won. You won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like whatever you say is yours. And and that's black women are one of the main cheerleaders of that. Black women allowed that to happen because they're kind of like, they're weapon. They're white women and white liberals weapon. And I don't mean to like get to go into the whole race issue, but there is a protected class dynamic. And
Yeah.
I do think, and I also think that white men, white man and black men, free thinking straight, are fighting the same battle. We're fighting the same battle because, as you mentioned, Johnny Depp and Johnathan Majors, Amber Heard, she shit in his bed. She
That's
took
love.
she took a poop in his bed. She cut his finger. She made the whole thing up,
Yeah.
and he lost his job. He lost
Yep.
probably sponsorship. His reputation was ruined.
He should
Like,
be able to count.
no, back to what you said, how a black man with dreadlocks. I was watching this clip on YouTube of, there was a Netflix show about this adopted black kid that lived with the white family that played baseball, and when he got cornrows, the baseball coach didn't like it. Then he was talking to his parents, they wanted him to cut it, and the white mom said, because he's a mixed black man, or thought, wasn't too sure. The kid with name was Colin in the, I think it was a, that's it is.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
It's his biography.
Yeah, Colin. Yeah, and it literally said, "You look like a thug," and she said it like that, and it says you gotta cut it because you look like a thug. That's why they're asking you to cut it.
Just not understanding each other.
And the fact is,
Um,
I don't think hairstyle is culture in a way. The fact is, anyone can wear any hairstyle.
Any
yeah, but it
one
does,
that's derived like especially with if you consider yourself whatever you identify as black, African American, indigenous, Puerto Rican, stuff like that. Cornrows what it's cultural because it's a form of it protects our hair. It's how our hair grows after we oil it and grease it and moisturize it. And
Except there are
yes,
white people with dreadlocks that they can rock dreadlock. And I'm not saying that certain hairstyles. There are people that can rock dreadlock. Anyone can rock dreadlocks.
it's very hard to find a white person with dreadlocks that doesn't have Jamaican descent or at least born there.
Justin
Uh,
Bieber,
Justin Bieber has dreadlocks right now.
he had dreadlocks.
If he, yeah, sure. He look at how extreme your example has to be. You have to go find a celebrity that hangs around with 90% black people every day. You're not gonna find the average white American that just lives in Levittown. They're not gonna wake up in one morning and get
I
dreadlocks.
mean,
It's,
one of my friends, like, this
so,
man is extremely white, but he thinks, like, he acts black. Like, even though he's very smart, like, the way he sometimes talks, you would think this guy.
oh, I'm not letting that racist comment go. Yo, B, he said I got a friend who acts black, even though he's very smart.
It's not racist.
Oh
He's
my
white. He's
god!
white. He's white. Like this man. Like
Oh,
the way
dude!
he acts. He acts like he comes from the inner city. Like
Even though he's smart, he acts black.
he's
Oh,
white. He's white. He's very much a white guy. Like
whoa!
if
That's
you
exactly what I'm telling you. American culture hides. It is not even Manny's fault. That shit is hilarious. But I just feel like, even with Jonathan Majors, American culture, to be an American is to be harbored in racism. You can't escape it. It's in the culture, it's in the teachings.
except
Yo,
how is I'm not saying I misworded what I said. I didn't mean to say it like that.
You did, but it's fine. It's in the culture, bro.
No, America, I would not say is racist. The fact is, that's what people want us to think. I would think we are very much one of the most progressive nations on the country.
Agreed.
But I think the fight is kind of converted now, and that's what we're seeing in the court. It's not so much racism anymore. It's anti-man. This country is very, very anti-man, anti-masculine. Like Jonathan Majors was on she recorded his call. I mean his conversation. All he was telling her was like, he has he has standards. He wants, she don't want her, like, she was out drinking, I believe. So he wants her to be a certain way with him. If he's going to be his girl, he can't afford her to be a certain way. He wanted to. He probably kind of messed up a little bit, but I understand what he was saying. That he wanted to be like Coretta Scott and Michelle Obama, and women who follow the lead of their husbands. Not
Except,
one of
what's
these.
that difference from when a woman says that? Except, I notice a lot of girl, like, some people get mad at me because they say, I have standards in women, and people say, you have nothing to offer a woman. You shouldn't have standards. You should be grateful a woman would even look at you.
Wait, people say that exact statement to you?
Yes.
Oh, you gotta.
Like, I'll tell
First
you
of all,
after the
first
podcast
of all,
who said that,
first of
Mike.
all,
And you would.
first of all,
That's
don't
nuts.
listen to that. Don't listen to that, Manny.
No, I'm
Yeah,
Don't
saying,
listen to that.
listen, I
nonsense.
am gonna I have a type. I say this is what I want, and if a girl says,
Yeah,
"Listen, she wants this from me in a relationship," I'm gonna respect that. Men and women can have types, and that is true.
yeah, and I don't want to. I don't. I'm just trying not to get too far off in this conversation, but don't listen to that, because by default, being a man and going and chasing your purpose in life, you have a lot to offer to any woman. Any
Yeah,
woman.
yeah.
Like, the relationship really is for them, because honestly, there's not much in a relationship that we need. We don't need to be in love and all these feelings. We just really, there's certain things they could provide for us. Yeah, I'm not anti-women. I love them. They're beautiful.
Today's
But
word, two. There's two things that they can provide, and that is it. There's
yeah, I don't
those.
know. Mike probably want to go into that, but don't let any of them.
I'll save it for another show.
I mean,
Don't
there's
let
only
any of
one
them.
thing really that a girl can do that I would instantly marry them. That I'd say, okay, you can do this. I'll marry you.
What is that?
Um,
You gotta drop it now. You gotta say
If
it.
they can make my grandma's eggplant parmesan and make it taste exactly like that, I said, okay, I'm marrying you.
just,
Yeah,
just think
you're
about.
Italian.
My yeah. What? I'm a simple guy. I like that. That's one of my favorite meals to ever eat. It's my. I'm gonna have it on Christmas Day, and please believe, I'm gonna eat a lot of it.
I can
Yeah,
make you
you
that
need to
for you.
learn. You need to
Hey,
learn
hey,
how
you're
to
not a
make that.
woman, Mike. You're not a woman, so that you don't count. That automatically it has to be
Oh,
a
that you
woman.
don't know that. Don't identify me. You don't know that I'm not a woman. That's culturally biased today. That's out of line. Don't
I
do
know
that.
you identify as a man. You even said it in the podcast.
I have the right to change for the sake of the show. I can change on the dime. You cannot assume
Yeah, and I can
that.
choose not to do it because
Mm,
you're not my type. Anyway.
okay.
But
Okay.
y'all don't see how y'all don't see like how America is, like, especially in the court system, is very anti-man and anti-masculinity,
Except there are
Okay.
and
cases where men can win custody of a child.
the woman has to be terrible,
Yeah.
like beyond terrible.
Well, you
She has
got to
to be
set her up.
beyond terrible. If she's
Yeah.
halfway decent, it's over.
If
And
you don't
I
set
mean,
her up, you're not getting the kid. You got to set her up. You got to go
and I
through like
think,
2 minutes.
It also depends what state you live in too. Like New York. In New York, you're mainly screwed in New York. It's going to the womb, but in other states, like a state that's much poorer than New York, like Texas. No offense, Paul, for saying, but the quality of life in New York is very good. The fact is, our court system is more biased
I don't
because
know that Texas is more important. But
their
is
minimum
it?
wage is way lower than New York. It's very cheap to live in Texas. A house, your house, Mike, that you have in New York is 10 times cheaper in Texas. But Texas is getting more expensive now because everyone's want to move there because it's so goddamn cheap. Because it also minimum wage there is like $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I didn't know that.
You take the
Thank you.
good with the bad because there's no nationally enforced minimum wage. If there was, even though there's good and bad with that, there'd be much more bads for that financially in other states that take Texas. They don't have rent control laws. If a minimum wage nationally was instated, what's stopping landlords from raising rent because, oh, I got more money now. The economy has more money coming in. I can raise it. And that can also cause gas prices to raise, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What
do
I'm
any?
saying,
Oh, go
what
ahead,
I'm
Paul.
saying,
I'm sorry.
what I'm saying, the average cost of living is for a single person is 30,000 a year.
What?
No. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I actually now. I mean that's very very good for a single person in New York. That's gonna not even get you in Long Island or something in Long Island.
Long Island's at least 50, probably. Yeah, at least 50.
No,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
surviving in Long Island, but you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you're living in
Yeah.
Hempstead for $30,000. You're living in Hempstead or Elmont.
Oh, wine dance. um, yeah, but yeah, it's like it's like I think what men is guilty until proven innocent, and like these, like old Johnathan Majors, he had standards, and women are allowed to have these insane standards for men,
Like,
insane
there's so
standards
many
for men.
videos on TikTok where it's like a woman describing her ideal man, and that man is only 0.5% of the population.
It's stupid. Like they have no clue of what kind of man the men that they
I
saw in the
mean,
Disney.
that's in America. The guy they're describing is a rich guy who lives in a Eastern European country is going to treat him terribly.
And
Or
America
they does treat him well. She's only using her for her looks. And
and America is the richest country in the world, so
no,
they're
Saudi
not gonna
Arabia is.
uh, per GDP. No, it's U.S., China, Saudi Arabia, probably like about in the fifth or sixth, maybe.
I mean, mostly a lot of people in Dubai and everywhere are mainly richer because there's not too many
They
people. And
well, they
the
have better culture than us. They have a better culture than us, and
well, not necessarily.
well, they
No.
do. They keep a woman in check. They keep a woman
A
in check
dog
over
in
there.
Dogtown has a better culture than the American.
Robin?
A dog in the dog pound has a better culture than American culture.
No, because a lot of stuff in Dubai and a lot of the Muslim Middle East countries, they have a lot of human rights violations just for speaking your mind about the government. Even if it's
Yeah.
wrong, like, even men, they don't have freedom of speech. Women and men don't have freedom of speech in a lot of these countries there. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, I see that.
Because
America has a lot.
I'd rather live in America where I can be attacked and called all this stuff and everything going on. At least I can say I'm never going to be attacked because of what I say. Sure, I can be attacked for what I say, but I
I'm
can
very
say it
thankful.
freely and not get arrested by the police.
Uh,
I
and
mean, you still
I
can, but it's up to a limit.
yeah, and in America, the court system is just like it's so rigged against men. It's so rigged. I'd rather be in this country too, where I could speak my mind. Um, but a lot of things that I speak my mind against is just cultural, like
It's
the
culture.
filth, the filth that they allow into culture, like um brainwashing children. They're reading books to drag queen
I'm all
drag.
fine with drag queens. I'm not into that kind of stuff, but leave it for adults.
Yeah, they have the drag queens reading books to children in school. Like, that's I don't have children, but that's something like, what kind of culture are we building?
Like, I'm all fine with what consenting adults do with their bodies, do all that, but at a certain point, we have to leave the kids alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, if a
Exactly.
kid thinks that they could identify, but they shouldn't be allowed to make any changes to them until they turn 18.
Yeah.
The fact
And
is, the kids, they don't have a say in this stuff. Sure, I can get the fact that the school cannot tell the parents because if the parents disagree, that's fine, but you shouldn't encourage the behavior or deny the behavior. Sure, people can think whatever they want, but I'm all for people living how they want to live, but just at a certain age, we gotta know when to involve certain groups because not every kid should be taught at a certain age about every single thing about the world.
no, especially about sexually suggestive themes, and
Oh, it's
that goes.
awful. Like kids today, they're explicit to sexual content right out the womb. I have friends who
Yeah,
been
even at home, they're watching. I mean, you know, my mom used to have a daycare when I was younger, and um, these kids know all. I mean, the rap music now is a lot worse,
is
but back
explicit,
then,
so explicit. Kids are listening to it. I'm not fine with people listening to music, but I never got into rap until I was a teenager.
yeah, I wasn't allowed to listen to it when I was late teens. And
Yeah,
my first rap song that I ever heard was Jay-Z Hard Knock Life, and I heard it because the only reason I heard it at that time was because they were playing it at the deli across the street from the church that I used to go to.
the
That's
first
the
rap
only reason
song I ever listened to was in the fifth grade or sixth grade. It was "God's Plan" by Drake.
I
Then the second
yeah.
rap song I listened to, I wanted to do a parody of. It's called "Man's Not Hot" by Big Shaq.
I never heard that one.
Like,
Never heard that one.
I never
But I
got it
mean,
until like recently. Like, the teacher saw the lyrics. There was only one bad thing in it. It was said "smoke trees," and you know what that means. I'm not saying on YouTube because we really.
yeah,
The fact is, I'm like, oh, he was referencing weed. I'm like saying, oh, like until I'm older, like I'm getting every single reference of bad stuff that happened, even in kid shows. Like rewatching old kid shows. Like there's one show on Cartoon Network I used to love as a kid called The Amazing World of Gumball, and like there was one episode where Darwin, this kid Darwin, he came back saying, yeah, with a bucket of milk, saying, yeah, I milked these wolves. They were very happy after I did it, and they're all tired. And you can get it. You can get it. I don't need to explain the joke further. And I was like saying,
yeah.
oh, I don't get it. But as right now, I'm like saying, oh crap, how did Cartoon Network allow this?
Oh, I know. I'm pretty sure if I go back and watch a lot of the cartoons that I watched when I was younger,
Oh,
I
even
would be able.
now, even in my kid shows, even not my kid shows, the kid shows I grew up with, there's so many indie windows. I'm like saying, oh my god. Like,
Yeah,
even in kids' video games, like saying, how did the censors get past this? It's
I
like,
know.
the kids don't
And
even
how
notice. And like, it's funny because we're doing it. The kids don't know it. That's the innocent part about it, is they don't know it.
and the parents should be the main buffer for that. But like that's where the issue in society is. That's why like in the courts, men are like masculinity is prosecuted. You can't be a man in this country anymore. And you can't not only be a man, but you can't be a father. You can't be a father. That like the American woman, especially in the black community, are incentivized to kick the father out. So of course there's going to be no authority in the house. Of course there's going to be no man to be like, you can't watch that. Why are you looking at that? Why
My
are you
mom and my
listening to that?
dad were both figureheads to me growing up. The fact is, everyone's life is different. The fact is, both parents should be in the kid's life, telling the kid what not to do, because both parents need to be in the kid's. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that
Yeah,
was my dad. As I was saying, both parents need to be in the kid's life and work together. Even though if they might be divorced, that's fine. If you have marital problems or stuff like that, you should both be in your kid's life and both being good co-parents. Even though you two might not be civil, you should still be there to guide your kid throughout your life.
amen, Manny. Amen. Amen.
Yeah,
The,
like,
the, I don't know
sorry,
like
man.
where we went. No, my fault. I know I just go back in. I don't know where we got, but just to respond to Manny, it's just that, and I learned most of this from Paul's uh educational educational moments we've had with certain topics, that America really incentivizes the woman, and this is across all races. It's
That's
just
why.
woman.
Yep.
They
Mhm.
incentivize the female to keep the man out the house. She's literally paid to keep the man out the house. So perfect world, Manny's 100% correct. It takes both parents. And I think in the past,
I mean,
I think
I'm different because
both
I had
parents,
both parents growing up, so
yeah, no, you did. And the crazy part is it shows. You can literally see Paul has had both parents for the majority of his life. You can literally see, for better or for worse, even if it ended in divorce or if the parents are together, you can tell the person that had both parents in the home. It gives you a standard either way.
except
Okay,
both sometimes two-parent households are not always good. The fact is, certain parents, people aren't fit to be parents too.
but my theory on that, even though it's still better than a single parent home, is because if I have both parents and it goes south, it's not the best environment. One parent is bad or just not ready to be a parent, and whatever, they're alcoholic, they're abusive, whatever the case may be. God forbid, people out there that have been molested by a parent, whatever, how bad it is, how good it is, whatever. What that does for the son or daughter, it gives you a foundation. This is
of
what my
how
mom did. This is
of
what my
how you're
mom
gonna
did.
be as a person and how you're gonna raise your own kids.
I had both parents. Both parents were good. This is what I want to do with my family. I had both parents. The parents were bad or one was bad. This is what I'm not going to do. I don't want to turn into my father. I don't want to turn into my mother. So it still
Or
benefits you as a man.
sadly, sometimes they do turn into that parent that they don't want to be. But
Yeah,
usually that's
life
not the
isn't
case.
life is not perfect, but you still have a format to go east or west with. When you have one parent, you are literally susceptible to that one dominant view, whether it's good or bad.
Except
And
sometimes people don't align with that views. I've used this point before. I'm always going to say that you can be in the most, grow up in the most racist town in America and say, be taught all the hateful stuff and say, I never agreed with it, I never did that. The fact is, people are not going to say programmed, but people, everyone's 100% different. People can think whatever they want from a situation, even with all the context from their life experiences that shapes them. Some people are more intent to believe what they're told without a question or say, okay. Some people are saying, okay, I get what I'm told, but I don't agree with that in the slightest.
that's true. Paul.
Yeah, like it's a it's an effort to like even when you look at single mother households, and this is related to, like in the courts, they want to get rid of masculinity. They hate men. If you're a masculine man, they hate you. They want to get rid of you, and they incentivize women to get rid of the man, the father, and then you know if you look at the stats, single mother homes are terrible. They're terrible situations
Except
for
not all single mother homes.
most of them, like 70%, 70 around the seventy
Except
percent
we're
range.
also forgetting
I would say,
about
I
the
would say 20.
silent majority. Because we were only so vocal about this because those are the bad ones. Or the bad single father households.
That's
We
a
only
significant amount, though.
no. Except the fact is, there are a lot of good single mother households. The fact is, we don't know every situation about why the mom
It,
is divorcing the father. Who knows
it
about the
can't.
situation? The fact is,
It,
we can't say, oh, this is the whole outlier for one. We have to look at most of the statistics. Just saying, oh, single mother households lead to failure. How about single father households? We don't. What's the
No,
stats?
single parent households
so
are on the same level as dual parent households. There's studies like single father households have similar outcomes to dual parent households because fathers are more authoritative. They don't believe in fantasies and delusions. It's real world. Like it's like I'm not saying there's a role for the mom. There's a role for the woman. Yes, nurturing, home
Except
building.
fathers can do that too. Anyone can be a nurturing parent and still be
Yeah,
authoritative. The
they're,
fact
they're
is,
better. They're better at it. They're better at the home. Fathers are better at being an authoritator and a leader, and the mothers are better at being a homemaker and the nurturers. And that's what. But America has taken that away by not allowing men to be men, criminalizing men like Johnathan Majors and Johnny Depp, and then
mhm.
it translates over into society. Dual parent households is the optimal solution for children, and then a close second is single father households. A distant third, distant third is the alphabet rainbows and single moms.
how about parents raised by their grandparents?
Okay. Uh, I,
Yeah,
I,
I
I
think
wouldn't, I wouldn't know, but I'll say this, just my opinion on it. I don't think. I think that has to do with why they're with the grandparents first.
exactly.
If the parents died versus if the parents can't handle the child and the child's with the grandparent.
Except
Because
also,
I
how
think,
about
I think,
adoptive families too? There's
hold on,
many
we
different
just
aspects about the
finished.
family unit that we can go into. We can save this for another topic because this is very interesting conversation we can have for another topic.
Yeah.
Oh, you asked the question.
Except we're getting into it too
You asked
deep.
the question and then cut
Yeah.
it. And
I try to I try
and
to
you
keep it
said,
close to
yo, what do you
Jonathan
think about
Majors,
kids?
but got a
He
little
said, what do you
far.
think about kids being raised with their grandparents? Nah, matter of fact, next topic.
No,
Damn.
no, the fact is, we can get into a whole thing. Parents raised by their uncles, aunts,
Yeah,
having
that's a good
adoptive
topic.
parents, step parents in the picture. Like,
Yeah,
there's
I
almost.
think just briefly, I think if the parents are alive, it's selfish. It's
yeah,
selfish.
yeah.
I don't think parents should put, and I mean I partially think that being a parent in itself is kind of selfish, but it's a necessary selfish. Like there are things that I do on a day-to-day basis that are selfish, but they're
Yeah.
necessary. And in those selfish acts, you can learn to be selfless. Like
Except,
being a duty,
exactly.
being a duty parent is selfless. Like you're taking care of your child. But when you have a child and you put it especially onto your parents, that's
That's not good unless you're doing it for because you're sick and you know your grandparents or your parents can take care of them and give them a good life. The fact is, there are a ton of different reasons. The fact is, a lot of people, some people have kids when they're not fit to be a parent, and then that person is going to have a different father figure, mother figure. We're not saying certain. Just because your parents didn't step up to the plate doesn't mean other parents can't step up to the plate to be there for you.
That's a bigger issue though.
No, I don't believe just because someone says blood, that doesn't mean that's mother or father. I believe the people who are there and raise you are your true family.
Yeah, I'll save my remarks for me if we actually cover that shit. 'Cause
yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
getting too close to an hour 30, so you guys want to call it here?
yeah, let's
yeah,
do closings and we'll just state the topic for the next show and
Yeah. Let me
we'll
pull up the
proceed
spinner
from
to
there.
see what we have up.
Oh, we're gonna do the spinner today.
Yeah, we are.
All right, good, nice.
All right. All right. Let me just take out co-ed sports. So we have the docket for next video is let me present the screen. We have Holy War, pause, lobbying, and 2024 election.
And
2024 election is getting serious now. They just took Trump
oh,
off Colorado,
Yo,
trying to
how do
do
I?
it in multiple states.
to me, Holy War right now
Yo,
is
hold
Holy
on. How
War
do I
be like,
spin?
oh my god.
I've got to figure out how to spin this thing.
Take a couple seconds. If not, we'll just announce it later. But yo, I really man, I think that the Palestine Israel war, I don't think people understand how bad that is and
There.
how that shit is gonna turn into the downfall of the road. That's me telling you.
All right.
Even go ahead.
It's spinning.
Holy
yeah. Holy War. All right, so that's what we're gonna be talking about next week. We're gonna be talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict.
oh yeah, hey, it's in the middle though. How do we
No,
decide? Oh,
you just said it.
It's spinned.
oh, oh, this is tough, Manny. This is tough. I might have to get you 3 books, boy. All right.
Thanks.
Yo, get ready. I'm gonna prepare you for part next show. Yo, I'm telling you, this
All
shit
right.
is
Yeah,
the world is over. The world is over. If y'all don't know it yet, we got like 2 more years left, man.
So after we finish this next topic, how about let's combine the 2024. How about we combine all three topics into one big episode because that with the Palestine conflict that can tie into the 2024 election.
All right.
true.
So yeah, let's do that. We can kind of
Yeah,
end off
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
election. Yeah, let's do that. I like
We
how
could, we could probably we could probably add something that happens next week on top of
Yeah, then we can discuss the three next topics that we're going to cover on the channel.
all right,
true.
just give your closing statement from today. Any last thoughts, and we'll get up out of here. Go
Yeah.
ahead, man. You start us off.
So, for which one? The closing thoughts for the Johnathan
Whatever,
Majors?
whatever's on your
Yeah.
mind, man.
So, in my opinion, everything we talked about today was good. I'm glad that we had an actual conversation. As you guys can see, all of us have completely political beliefs, and we are able to still have a civil conversation, still laugh about this. This is the whole point of the show. Us
That's right.
disagreeing on multitude of things and showing that just because we have different political opinions doesn't mean we're enemies. We're not a bunch of tribalistic monsters here. We're actually, even though we disagree with each other, we're all friends at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. Amen. Pete.
Um, it's a strange world, and you know, we need strong men and we need strong leadership. Despite the system, the powers that's trying to beat us down and knock us down, we need to be strong men. And a lot of the problems that we have in society is because I understand it. I understand it. I genuinely do. Women, and especially when I was in my 20s, they're beautiful. And when you see them, all you want to think about is like, man, I want to smash. and then I want to give her everything that like. If you don't really have a masculine figure, a mentor telling you that, like, you got to chill. Yeah, you might want to do that, but don't give up too much. Like you still have a lot that you need for yourself. And but a lot of the problems that we have with co-ed sports, like if we had men like really like no, some sports like maybe like 30 to 20% of the sports you could have co-ed, but the rest, nah, it's men and women. Men separate and women separate. With Johnathan Majors and Johnny Depp, as much as I kind of you want to blame, you want to be like, man, they're defeating masculinity. You can't even have standards as a man in this country anymore. You get criminalized for having standards as a man. You have to blame the men, like you know, with
Except
Johnny
both of
Depp,
us are to blame. We're not.
huh?
Both of us are to blame for every situation. No one's 100% at fault. No one is 100% the victim. We are both to blame.
True, but here's where the difference is, because it's like chess. It's like chess. When the king is defeated, the game is over. But the queen, she has unlimited range. She has the most power to move
Except the
wherever
fact
she
the fact
wants.
is, without your queen, you're screwed in chess. That's the
No,
fact.
you can win. You can
No,
win
you
without the queen. Yes.
still got
No,
50
if you
US.
lose your bishop, you, the most important pieces are the bishop, knight, and queen.
But you
You
could
still
win
have a
without the
chance.
queen. Though.
You still have a
You still have,
chance. If you're really good at chess, you still have a chance.
Yeah, but
and you can make
at
you can
that
make
point, you still have both your power pieces. If you lose your queen, you're pretty much screwed. The fact is, the other queen
you
can
can make
take.
your pawn a queen. You can make your pawn a queen.
Yeah.
Except,
So
if you how are you gonna do that when all your power pieces are taken and all you have is a pawn
Easy.
and a
Easy.
king?
Easy. Easy. Unless you're a bum at chess, by the time your queen and your bishop has been taken, one or two of your pawns should be to the other side of the board. And that's the metaphor. As long as the king is still standing, that pawn has a chance to be a queen. But if the queen falls, you still have a chance. If the king falls, the game is over.
that's why.
Metaphorically speaking, like that's just how it is.
And in this American culture, the greatest superpower that women have is making us lose sense of our power.
Mhm.
And once we give up too much power to them, we lost our power. That's why we have to keep it internal. And I'm not saying they're not valuable, but when we are through, the game is over.
Yeah.
So like we have to
Yeah,
stay kings, and the king is not something that is given to you. You got to earn it, and we can't. We gotta, as a men, we gotta avoid. I think let's. You gotta. I'm gonna keep it short. I know I'm going to rambling, but we
yeah,
have to. A lot of interactions we have with women, we kind of almost got to treat it like we're talking to beds, or like we have to be very careful, and we can't give away too much of our power, and we just have to be you know we have to be wise. We just have to you know just play our cards right. We have value that's unique, and if we unlock it, it's like a lot of barriers to entry. Like a lot, no other people, nobody else could do what we could do uniquely if we unlock our true gifts. So that's what I'm gonna say.
I'll
yeah,
keep it short. With co-ed sports, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think we should figure out a way to bring it more to the light so that men and women are both highlighted. Me personally, I just find men's sports more entertaining. But how I feel about co-ed sports is that it's something that is needed. It's something that should be advertised more. And I respect the fact that women are becoming better athletes to even compete with us, and the fact that men are also becoming better athletes because they're able to still compete at a high level, even though they're with possibly um, other players on the playing field that may not be as skilled as them, but still keep it entertaining. And then as far as Majors and Johnny Depp, I blame them. I think as men, as we're at a point in society where we have to know that we are the actual prize, and we have to know that we actually have far more to lose than women. When women make mistakes, they are cleaned up. There's social services, there's child support, there's alimony. It is okay to get abortions in most places in this country. It's okay to have a full term baby and drop it off at the hospital, no strings attached. But as a man, it is not okay to bust in a woman and not want to pay child support or not want claims to the child. So we, as celebrities, us three kings right here, um, we have far more to lose when we waste our time, our life, our energy, our resources on the wrong woman. So, with all due respect to Johnny Depp and Mr. Majors, I hold them accountable because they should have done a better job protecting their resources and selecting their queens. Um, it's a great show. Manny, man, I'm getting more and more surprised by your intellect and your charm and your wit.
Thanks.
All you been knowing you since high school, man, and your intellect is just growing, man. I'm always impressed. So today was a
Hey,
good show, man.
let's talk about soon getting guests on here.
Yeah, yeah, man. Well, you could pull your meat out on one of the shows and have it. That could be a guest.
Like how one of my friends.
yeah,
You
get
could.
one of the dudes from the wrestling team, son. I want to
Yeah.
see you.
Actually, I might
As a
want to
matter of
get.
fact, I want to see the girl that suplexed you. Bring her on.
No, she's too young. She's too young.
Oh man, you got suplexed by a 12-year-old, bro. Jesus. All right.
13. She's a strong
Yeah.
13er. She's actually my height. Like, trust. Like, she isn't a twig. She's actually built for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. This is you. Manny's just digging himself a bigger hole.
Hey, I'm not gonna be all insecure about it. What kind of loser would that make me?
Today's man.
Listen, I'm gonna be insecure. I don't care who I lose to. I lost. I know what to do. Next time, better.
All right. All right. We'll see.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, that's
Always
So,
the next